A reading from the book of Isaiah. Shout for all you are worth. Raise your voice like a trumpet. Proclaim to the people their faults. Tell the house of Leah and Rachel and Jacob their sins. They seek me daily. They long to know my ways. Like a nation that wants to act with integrity and not ignore the law of its God. They ask me for laws that are just. They long for God to draw near. Yet they say, why should we fast if you never see it? Why do penance if you never notice? Because when you fast, it's business as usual, and you oppress all your workers. Because when you fast, you quarrel and fight and strike the poor with your fist. Fasting like yours today will never make your voice heard on high. Is that the sort of fast that pleases me? A day when people humiliate themselves, hanging their heads like a reed, lying down on sackcloth and ashes? Is that what you call fasting, a day acceptable to God? On the contrary, this is the sort of fast that pleases me. Remove the chains of injustice. Undo the ropes of the yoke. Let those who are oppressed go free, and break every yoke you encounter. Share your bread with those who are hungry, and shelter homeless, poor people. Clothe those who are naked, and don't hide from the needs of your own flesh and blood. Do this, and your light will shine like the dawn, and your healing will break forth like lightning. Your integrity will go before you, and the glory of God will be your rear guard. Cry, and God will answer. Call, and God will say, I am here, provided you remove from your midst all oppression, finger pointing, and malicious talk. If you give yourself to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light will shine. Your light will rise in the darkness, and your shadows will become like noon. God will always guide you, giving relief in desert places. God will give strength to your bones, and you will be like a watered garden, like a spring of water whose water never runs out, once dry. You will rebuild the ancient ruins and build upon age-old foundations. You will be called repairer of broken walls and restorer of ruined neighborhoods.
Good evening. My name is Jim Mitulski, for those who are watching on Zoom, and I'm pleased to be the pastor of the Congregational Church of Belmont. But I'm also pleased to be here tonight as the former pastor of the Island United Church in Foster City. It feels like a real homecoming. When I walked into the parking lot, and because it was lit here and dark outside, and saw through the Welcome Home banner, I really felt like I was homecoming. And it just means so much to me to be able to come back here and to bring together, to be part of bringing together Island Church and Belmont Church. Because I think we're modeling something for the other UCC churches in the area about our present and our future, that we are stronger together. I want to take a moment and also acknowledge with gratitude the Island United Church leaders and your minister and your media minister, your pastor, Reverend Michael, who I've known for many years, and it's such a delight to see him and you at Island Church flourishing together, because I do follow you on Facebook and on social media. So let's talk about, for a moment, let's talk about Lent. Lent has such a bad rap, and I don't think it deserves it. When you first bring up Lent to people, the first things that come to mind are not excitement, anticipation, inspiration. It often evokes a sense of dread or disappointment or apprehension or anxiety. And I think it's because it's been mishandled or misused. All I'm saying is, give Lent a chance. Have an open mind about what it can mean for us today. Maybe you grew up with it in a kind of spiritual faith that was hindering or inhibiting or used religion in a way that was manipulative or guilt-inducing in order to create change. But I'm asking you to give that up for Lent. And in the same way that sometimes Christianity has asked us to give up things or to fast from things for Lent, I'm asking one thing is that you give up any prior notion about Lent and embrace a new way of thinking about it this year. Now, I am giving up something for Lent. As you know, I just moved back here from Duluth, Minnesota, where I was the pastor of Peace United Church and had a lovely time there, serving a lovely congregation with lovely people. But I'm proud to say I'm giving up snow, ice, 6-month winter, and sub-zero weather for 2 months in a row. And I'm embracing. And I don't want to hear one word from Northern California about how cold it is. Because I will tell you right now, it's 50 degrees warmer here than it is in Duluth on any given day, because I obsessively still check the weather app every day. I'm giving that up for something warmer and better. But I'm asking you to give up not only old notions, but for all of us to think about what is it that we want to question about our habits, our routines, our traditions, our customs, personal, in our own lives, in the lives of our friends or community, even in our church, that might be an impediment to us to experiencing the full breadth of resurrection on Easter. There's nothing wrong with habits or customs or traditions, but sometimes they make it difficult for us to see the possibility of resurrection and renewal, even when it's right there in front of us or before us. The Lenten theme that both Belmont Church and Foster City Church are sharing, along with several other churches in the area throughout the Lenten season this time, is asking questions, asking honest questions, and seeking deeper answers and a deeper faith. In order to do that, we have to embrace the idea that asking questions is a good spiritual discipline. You've heard me say this before in Island Church, but I did grow up in a church that not only told you what the answers to all the questions were, but also told you what questions you could ask. And if the questions weren't in the book, you couldn't ask it. And if the answers to the questions that you were allowed to answer were not in the book, then those were the wrong answers. Certain questions, certain answers. What we're going to do in Lent, in both of our congregations, is look at a number of Bible stories that encourage us to ask honest questions and to let everything be open to re-examination or to examination for the first time for how can it lead to resurrection for us. And for some of us, for some of the asking of these questions, it will require of us to fast or give up something in order to have the kind of full breadth of resurrection that we deserve to have on Easter. There can't be a real resurrection without there being some emptying out, some new room created in our lives, some release of habits or customs or traditions that are in some ways preventing us from doing something genuinely new. In this passage from the scriptures, God speaks to the prophet and encourages people not to just engage in rituals by habit, because God isn't interested in that. God is interested in seeing the world look different as a result of what we do in church, in our case. If the world doesn't look different because of what we do here in Foster City or what we do in Belmont on Sunday mornings, then God isn't really interested in it. That's what God is saying through the prophets to people who gather in buildings and do rituals that don't result in the world looking different somehow. So Lent is a time for us to not just mindlessly engage in what we have done in the past, but to really be open, choosing something different, asking different questions, being open to questioning everything. There is no bad question. There is no wrong question, especially if it leads to change and new life for all of us. So the fast that I invite you to tonight, take a fearless moral inventory of your own life. Don't take it of someone else's life, as tempting as that can be. Because I don't know about you, but I could tell Michael 10 great things that he could do differently. But I'm going to refrain from that. Instead, I'm going to take that impulse and apply it to myself. And then in our church communities, I want to encourage us to do the same thing in love, for us to look at our church in Belmont. And I invite you to do it in Foster City and ask, what can we change? Trusting in the power of resurrection. Be open and trust God to hold us as we fast and make a difference in what the world looks like. So that when we gather on Easter, people will say, not only do they know about the resurrection of Jesus 2,000 years ago, but they're showing us what resurrection looks like today in 2023.